I'd now like to invite Jan Whittle, who's the Program Leader, River and Floodplains in the Environmental Water Team in Dew. And I know Jan and have known Jan for many years, and she's a fantastic advocate for this environment, and she's the person that we often see up here, especially when the Chowilla Community Reference Group get together. So Jan's going to give us an overview of the TLM. Thanks, Jan.
Thanks very much, Tony. I'm really pleased to be here tonight, and I guess I've got a brief period of time to give a bit of a potted history, so it will be brief, but really happy to talk to you throughout the night. If you've got extra sort of questions, or if my rattled off sort of potted history raises more questions than provides answers. I too would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and also to reiterate that thank you to Julie and the wonderful dancers for that welcome tonight. So in terms of the Living Murray, who are we? There's a team of us that work within DEW, Department for Environment and Water, the Environmental Water Team. Tony Herbert, our manager, is here somewhere, and working on Chowilla, the amazing Ali Stokes, Grace Hodder, Fiona Giles, Leek Vial's not here, and myself. And we, as Sue mentioned, we collaborate closely with our colleagues from across the border on the management of Colkerna. And we work closely with water managers from the other ICON sites in South Australia, New South Wales and Victoria. The Living Murray, as has been alluded to, I guess it emerged after sort of very definite evidence of a decline in the River Murray system, seen as a first step in terms of working towards a healthy working River Murray system. The Murray-Darling Basin Ministerial Council, I guess, launched it or came to the conclusion that this first step approach for the Living Murray should progress in 2003. The program is coordinated by the Murray-Darling Basin Authority, and I guess it's delivered over 6 ICON sites across the Southern Connected Basin. It incorporates the recovery of almost 500 gigalitres of water for the environment and significant investment in water delivery infrastructure. There's an ongoing program to deliver that water for the environment, to monitor the outcomes, and to undertake engagement with First Nations and the broader community. Here are the sites, I guess, spanning from Barmah-Millawa Forest upstream down to the Lower Lakes, Coorong and Murray Mouth in South Australia, with the Chowilla Floodplain, the Lower Lakes and Coorong, and of course they are part of the River Murray Channel system in this state. The Ministerial Council, in launching the Living Murray, identified or confirmed some overarching ecological objectives for the site around maintaining high-value wetlands and river red gum and black box. But also, I guess, following that, more comprehensive set of ecological objectives and targets have been developed, and they guide our management of the site. So the Chowilla Floodplain, about half an hour up the road, depending on the state of the Wentworth Road, which we'll find out in the morning. But nearly 18,000 hectares spanning the South Australian New South Wales border. Beautiful expanse of river red gum and black box woodlands, and an incredible diverse range of aquatic habitats, providing amazing habitat for a range of important species, including threatened and endangered species. The site, in this very arid environment, is dependent on flooding flows from upstream, so dependent on rainfall that falls further up the catchment, and we need flows over 40, 45, 50,000 before we start getting any sort of inundation across the floodplain. The site is a National Parks Game Reserve and part of the Riverland Ramsar site of international importance. It's also a site of, I guess, the extensive cultural sites across Chowilla are evidence of, long-term occupation, and our work with the traditional owners is a really important part, I guess, of the work that we do as a TLM team. as is our work with the community. And as Tony alluded to, there are people who have, whose passion and advocacy for Chowilla has, extended over decades. And, Tony mentioned Jack Seacamp, here he is here, and he was recording and documenting, I guess the decline at a site like the Garden of Eden. The first 3 photos are his, and then subsequent photos being taken by Todd Wallace. But yeah, that decline that I guess triggered the emergence of the living Murray was very much in evidence across the Chowilla floodplain. With the early days of the TLM, there was a program called River Red Gum Rescue, and here we have an amazing floodplain manager captured in the state media at the time. And, I guess what that River Red Gum Rescue program was about, pumping water to restore and conserve valuable wetlands on Chowilla. The pumping program, was really important, and I guess it was innovative. It hadn't been done before. It was something that it was a new approach to actually try and restore these areas, and it was incredibly successful. The monitoring sort of confirmed that success, but it also confirmed that you can't just water these sites once. You need to continue to deliver water to these sites. Over the subsequent years, the pumping program at Chowilla grew, and up to 29 sites were to receive pumped delivery of environmental water across Chowilla, hitting almost 10% of the floodplain. But of course, in any one year, we couldn't pump all of those 29 sites. Could we, Warren? That meant in any year that we had to actually prioritise and look at how we could make the best use of water. Where was the most critical need to make a difference? The pumping program was incredibly important at maintaining refuge sites throughout the Millennium Drought. So 29 sites were hitting about 10% of the floodplain. There's a site circled here, Wetterwort Wetland, one of the sites we call a jewel in the crown at Chowilla. Beautiful wetland that we were able to pump water to over a number of occasions to keep it ticking over through the drought and to maintain the health of those fringing river red gums, and, very successful program. But while we were delivering this water over a number of years, there was also a whole range of investigations looking for opportunities to hit more than 10% of the floodplain to try and, avert the massive loss of, trees and habitat that was occurring. Assessment or consideration of, what else we could do, like I say, went over a number of years. There was a large investment in a range of investigations and assessments, looking at a range of different options for how that might be achieved. The results of all of that assessment ended up with the construction of the Chowilla regulator at the bottom end of Chowilla Creek, a really novel, untried, untested, new approach to trying to actually deliver water more broadly across the floodplain. The construction commenced in 2010. The drought broke and the construction area got flooded out, so there was an extended period of construction, but it was completed in 2014. The idea of the floodplain is that you're actually using that structure to raise water levels throughout the Anna Branch in order to generate managed floodplain inundation. Clearly not something that you can do without considering the range of risks, and also, being very thoughtful about how that management should be undertaken. In 2014, the first regulator operation was undertaken with close adherence to a comprehensive operating plan that was based on linking the scale of operations to the levels of River Murray flows with the concurrent raising of Lock 6 and maintaining flows through the Anna Branch to avoid water quality issues such as low DO and to maintain the flowing habitats are important for native fish. The works not only included the major regulator, but also a range of ancillary structures and a major upgrade of the inlet weirs on Pipeline Slaney Creek to promote improved flows and to enable fish passage. And indeed, you know, an amazing, fantastic response for the floodplain vegetation. Since 2014, there's been significant, there's been 6 operation. Okay, the regulator has been operated on 6 occasions. There's been amazing results, and again, here's wetland photographed or drone photo from September 2022, the last operation of the regulator. Again, that's that wet site that I highlighted before. But that regulator operation in 2022, we will all remember, was rapidly overtaken by the largest flood in the South Australian floodplain since 1956. And just to reiterate that flooding, here's the same photo again, looking out at a beautifully completely connected floodplain receiving a massive drink. Partnerships are absolutely fundamental to the success of a project here. There's a few points missing off the bottom of this slide that I should have picked up, but clearly there's a range of organisations, including the Landscape Board, including national parks, and, you know, a range of other parties that, you know, we work really closely with our colleagues in New South Wales. But, yeah, without these partnerships, yeah, the success at Chowilla could not have been achieved. Just to highlight that, you know, the work of SA Water, their expertise in operating the floodplain infrastructure has been quite incredible. Robbie Bonner and Warren's here tonight, and their team undertaking these environmental operations, helping us to achieve our tree hugging and fish hugging targets on top of their management of the river. It's just been phenomenal. Close partnerships with national parks is also critical, and, you know, the likes of Fridge here in supporting TLM throughout construction and throughout our operations is you know, has been really important. There's also the invaluable connections that Sue highlighted before with the scientific organisations from South Australia and beyond. You know, University of Adelaide, CSIRO, SARDI, as well as a number of private contractors and the people from Jew. The importance of the monitoring can't be overstated. Over its lifetime, TLM enabled generation of invaluable long-term data sets and learnings about floodplain ecological responses. We'll hear just some of the key programs tonight, hear about them. We probably could spend days talking about it. The condition monitoring program, really important, provides us with information about the need for watering on the floodplain, and it helps us to track the condition of the floodplain over time. Our intervention monitoring program, yeah, equally important in terms of assessing or supporting our risk mitigation at the site, but also tracking responses, the benefits of the delivery of environmental water, and tracking things like breeding responses and habitat use throughout operations. And I guess just I know that Fiona will talk a bit more about this in a minute, but the work and support of the RMAC Ranger team helps us to expand the breadth of the operation across the site, and yeah, provides us with really important support. So in closing, I'm pretty sure I've blown my time, but Adrienne's just been kind to me. I guess over 20 years of TLM, I've, you know, barely scratched the surface of the work that's involved, but I think, you know, collaboration and continuous learning, and the fact that we've got still so much more to learn, and we're still yet to undertake a full-scale operation of the infrastructure. And, you know, I think there's learnings that come with that. But then, you know, I guess the other thing is the contribution that the science from this site is making more broadly as well. So I'm really excited to hear the presentations tonight so that we can, you know, I guess, hear a bit more about those contributions. Thanks very much.